Hello, my name is Alex, and today I will be discussing the topic of nutrient density, a guide to a healthy diet. For years, the old USDA food pyramid has led the public to a diet that is high in starch and grains and much too low in the fruits and vegetables that keep us healthy. Dr. Fuhrman's Nutritarian Pyramid organizes the food into groups based on their nutrient density, or how many nutrients a food has per calorie. Using the nutrient density of food, it is possible to create a healthy diet using the foods that really matter for our health, and limiting the foods that contribute less. Although everyone is different and certain lifestyles require certain foods, everyone can benefit from the knowledge of what foods are most nutrient dense. The diet for typical Americans has been skewed heavily towards cheap, processed, and starchy foods. Unfortunately, this has led to quite an epidemic of several health-related problems, although Dr. Fuhrman has come up with an entirely new way of looking at foods that hopefully will change the way most people eat. Nutrient density is a simple way of explaining how healthy particular foods are. Dr. Fuhrman came up with a food pyramid based on the nutrient density of foods. There is a simple equation that he uses to determine how healthy certain foods are. The equation is health equals nutrients divided by calories. Therefore, the more nutrients and fewer calories a food has, the more nutrient dense that food is. Dr. Fuhrman created his food pyramid around this nutrient density rating, with vegetables, not surprisingly, being the base of the pyramid. Fruits, nuts, seeds, beans, and legumes are all next for being nutrient dense. The foods that are the least nutrient dense are the oils, fats, sweets, and most meat products, which Fuhrman recommends only consuming about 2 servings or less per week. Another way to look at food in this way is with the ANDI, or Aggregate Nutrient Density Index. This table is based off of Dr. Fuhrman's research and gives several foods a numerical value from 1 to 1,000 based on how healthy and nutrient dense they are. At the top of the list is kale, which makes sense given that it is a dark green, raw leafy vegetable. Other very highly ranked foods are spinach, broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. On the lower end of the spectrum, there are foods like cola, French fries, American cheese, ice cream, potato chips, and apple juice. Most of those low-end foods sound like they deserve to have low scores, except for perhaps apple juice. While reading through this index, confusion may arise as certain foods that are usually thought of as healthy are ranked very poorly. It is important to remember that the index is based off of nutrients per calorie. So foods that may have lots of nutrients, but are also very calorie dense, will rank lower than what seems appropriate. It is important to remember that all this nutrient density information should not be looked at as what the new diet for everyone should be, but rather as a guide to know what foods to consume to increase nutrient intake. A diet that is mostly nutrient-dense food, like fruits and vegetables, will not be enough to sustain physically active people, like athletes. Fruits and vegetables simply do not have enough calories, fat, and carbohydrates to sustain activity levels that physically active people endure. Carbohydrates provide most of the energy for shorter, high-intensity workouts, while fat fuels longer endurance-type activities. Protein is also required for maintaining and building muscle mass, so athletes must eat sufficient amounts of meat and starchy foods to get the fat, protein, and carbs they need to fuel their workouts. Because these type of foods rank low in nutrient density, Athletes would benefit from this information so that they would know what foods to eat to get proper nutrition. Nutrient density is a great way to evaluate food in a different light. The old diet and pyramid focused on foods that gave us energy-filled macronutrients rather than health-promoting micronutrients. The benefits of a diet rich in fruits and vegetables are obvious and should be included in every person's life. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.